right, welcome back to week 25 of my journey to Ironman California 2023. So let's give you some updates on my journey. First, let's talk about the running. My knee is good. There's no swelling. I've been working on the flexibility, been working on the range of motion, and there's definitely a huge improvement on the knee. I've added my impact. I've been, again, working on the knee, rehabbing, recovering, anything and everything that I could do for the knee I've been doing, and it has been paying dividends because my knee feels great. Oh, I love it when my knees and my joints feel good, but it just takes one little small tweak and then, you know, I'm back to a week to 2 weeks of swelling. Now, when I say that my knee is swelling, it swells to the point where I notice it. It swells to the point where I can't, let's say if this was my knee, I can't bend the knee fully, right? The knee is supposed to, you know, almost touch your heel to the butt. I can't do that. There's a slight angle in the knee, so it doesn't affect my walking. It doesn't really affect anything outside of the full flexion of the knee. So when my knee becomes swollen, since I've had this issue with my knees for the last 10, 12, 13 years, it's like part of doing business. You know, it's like part of being an athlete. There's going to be some swelling, there's going to be some soreness. So I don't even think about it anymore. So I really, you know, I have the experience to just take care of my knee when it does swell. You know, I still use it. I still do the things I need to do, maybe just a little bit less intense. But right now the knee is great. So the knee is good enough to break it down next week so I could be swelling for a week. Hopefully not this time, but the knee's good. So I'm not going to do anything to destroy it before or injure it before next week. So when it comes to any type of jumping or any type of impact, that's done until next week. The marathon will be in Eugene, Oregon next Sunday. So we leave Friday night. So I'll have videos of, you know, the travel, the hotel stay, the renting of the car, going to the correct full marathon starting point. We've learned our lesson. We're not gonna make that stupid mistake again. So in case you guys are new, my client Rosa, she decided she wants to run a marathon. And she informed me in 2021 in December that she wants to do it. We trained all year to run December 2022. She had an unfortunate medical condition where she went to the hospital. She said, "Did you use my picture?" Here's the picture of her in the hospital. Not that I am happy that she's in the hospital. She wanted everyone to see that she was in the hospital. So she was in the hospital for a day. We couldn't run. That was the Wednesday before the marathon. The marathon was on a Sunday, December 5th. On Wednesday, she went to the hospital. So we didn't run December. Then in March, we rescheduled the marathon March 5th, where we ran in Napa, but we took the wrong bus to the wrong starting line. Almost. That was close. We got on the wrong bus. So we took the bus to the half marathon versus the full marathon. And then by the time we went to the proper bus to go to the full marathon, we were late. By the time we were running, they closed the course, or they're about to close the course, a half hour till the closing, and we were still 6 miles away from the finish line. So we decided to call it quits because we weren't going to make it, and we were in the middle of the road. So for safety purposes, we decided to stop after 20 miles. Because this was Rosa's goal, she was unhappy with the results, so she decided to schedule another marathon, which is going to be next week in Eugene, Oregon. So this is our technically our third attempt at this marathon. So this is her goal. We're stubborn, we are persistent, and we're going to accomplish this goal next week. So tune in next week for the video. As for the cycling, all right. So I finally had the guts to go on Foothill Expressway. And I went down, you know, on the first day I went down 5 miles back, that's 10 miles. Day after, or 2 days after, I decided to go further, and I ended up going down 7 miles back, or a little bit under. So little by little, I'm starting to extend my cycling and my course so that I know when it's time to cycle during training camp, I'm going down Foothill Expressway, I'll feel confident. And it's a long straightaway, so I know that I can get some really, really good cycling in that straightaway. So that's the good news. When I first started, I was going through neighborhoods, and I was kind of playing it safe because I wanted to get comfortable with my bike. I wanted to get comfortable just being on the streets. So last week, I had video of me
cycling up and down the streets, and you can really see how close the cars get to you. So if you're an advanced or an experienced cyclist, that's every day. You know, I totally get it, I understand. But for the people who don't cycle, I just wanted to give you a quick little perspective of what the cyclists do and what I am getting into. I don't want to call myself a cyclist because I'm not a cyclist. I'm just an athlete playing in someone else's sport. So I totally respect it. I don't want to take any credit for something I'm not doing. I don't want to call myself a cyclist. I'm just dabbling in the sport. But it's going great. Now that, like I said, when I feel comfortable, I have my route. When training camp starts, I now have a route to go. Now, as for the swimming, the one that my number one focus. Swimming. Swimming's great. Like I said, Leslie's dad's been here. We've been swimming together, and we've been geeking out together, just talking about swimming and just sharing some. He gives me some advice when he sees something that I'm doing wrong, and attempt to fix it. So I've been taking him swimming for the last week that he's been here. He wanted to videotape himself or video himself swimming. We've got video of me swimming, which I'll share in a second. So all in all, things are going great. Week 25 in the books. Week 26 will be in Eugene, Oregon next week. Hope you guys follow along. Hope you guys are enjoying the trip so far. And just as a quick reminder, today is the 23rd of April. Yesterday, on Saturday, was the 22nd. Yesterday was 6 months away from the race. I started this idea, I believe, back in November. I think mid-November, I can't remember. But by the time the race is done, I'll have done this, videos for a year. I'll have done the training for a year. So right now we're at the midpoint. 6 months away to the big day. So I'm very, very excited. I've been doing a lot of studying. I've been doing a lot of exercise. I've been doing a lot of foundational work, getting ready for this training camp, which happens in 2 weeks. So just as a reminder, the journey to my Ironman, that will be the series that I'm currently doing. That will end after the marathon. After the marathon will then be training camp, Ironman training camp. So it's going to be a little bit different, hopefully a little bit more active or more video shots of me exercising, me riding, me whatever. The series will be changing soon, is what I'm trying to say, what I am saying. All in all, things are good. Thanks for following. Click, subscribe, click the bell, the notification bell, so you guys know when I come out with a new video. And I hope you guys are subscribed, because I will have more videos to come. I will see you next week in Eugene, Oregon.
All right, a box came in today, and I wonder what it is. And it is from Ironman. So let's open it. I know what it is. Let's open it and see what we have. First things first, I needed to replace my goggles. So I got goggles that were a little bit bigger and wider. Woo! Look at these things. Man, I feel like I'm gonna go flying. I really like this. Wow. All right, so there's a mirror tint, so that way the sun stays out of my eyes. And the mirror also focuses on all weathers, whether it's overcast, whether it's a sunny day. This is why I got the mirrored glasses. And it's a lot bigger, so I can see, I have a lot more peripheral. My pool glasses aren't as wide, so I don't have that much of a peripheral. So peripheral will actually be really good when it comes to sighting. I need to know where I'm at, where the buoys are, all that good stuff, and my fellow competitors. I need to see if they're close to me, not close to me. If I don't feel them, I still need to see them. So it monitors or dictates how close people are, which is a very good thing. And this is the last major purchase for this Ironman. And let's see how this looks. Ooh-wee! Roca. Oh, look at this thing. Nice. All right. So I have a Roca wetsuit. This is a tri-suit. This is not a type of suit that you go surfing in. That's what I originally had. I had an O'Neill and realized that there's different types of wetsuits. So I thought in video 2, way back about 23 weeks ago, I was in a Tahoe and I was using my O'Neill surfing. And the more research I did, I realized that there's a difference between the tri wetsuit versus the wetsuit for surfing. Now, the biggest difference is the shoulders. I guess there's more mobility with the tri wetsuit than there is with the suit that I go surfing in. So here's my Roca, and the cool thing is, if I got the right one, since this is a beginner's wetsuit, the legs are gonna have a little bit more buoyancy. So when I swim, I'm a big guy, I'm a heavy guy, my feet tend to sink. So not too much, but enough for me to notice. So this is the one thing that this type of wetsuit will help with the buoyancy of my legs so that I don't create drag when I'm swimming, right? So I wanna make sure that I'm at least streamlined. So when I'm streamlining, I can cut through that water comfortably with the least amount of resistance. So here's my Roca wetsuit, last major purchase of this Ironman. So next thing now is to try it on, or to put it on. And I'm back, Roca wetsuit. I'm in. So if you guys notice, I'm wearing white gloves and white socks. When I got the wetsuit, it came with the white gloves. These are just my socks. Now the reason I have them on is so that I can easily slide my hands and my feet through the wetsuit so that I'm not going to damage or stretch out the wetsuit in a way that I'm going to damage the wetsuit. So it's a slide on in and slide in. Another thing is you want to be very careful with the wetsuit that I don't use my fingernails to pinch. I want to make sure that I use my pads, my finger pads, to pull the wetsuit on. So here you go, real quick little story. So a couple weeks ago, I told a story about my wrestling shoes and how it was old technology. If you don't remember the story, go back 2 weeks, listen to the story. But one of the reasons why I told it was because I knew about this wetsuit. So originally, my swimming coach said, hey, you know, because I asked him, what are the recommendations, what kind of recommendations do you have for wetsuits? Because I know I needed to get one. So he sent via email a wetsuit minus the sleeves. So it's just wetsuit and sleeveless. I don't know any better, so I was gonna get it. But when I was watching GTN, Global Triathlon Network, there was a video or an episode on what feels better or what's going to have you perform better. A cheap wetsuit or a very expensive wetsuit. And they tested it, they swam in both the old and the new. And they realized that the newer wetsuits, or with the more higher technology, it was cutting some time off of the swim based on the older version. So they were saying, if you have the money, spend some money on an expensive wetsuit so that way it's easy. Another thing they were talking about was technology. He said, in the old days, triathletes used to wear the wetsuits with no sleeves. And he goes, it's irrelevant now because the technology in the new wetsuits are really good where you can use or have sleeves on it. And then it made me think, man, I'm so glad I didn't get the wetsuit sleeveless because I'm not trying to go out to Ironman with old technology the way I came to the wrestling with old wrestling shoes. So I'm glad that I watched those episodes and I got the newer version with the sleeves. Now, the reason the technology has increased is the idea or the mentality was that the sleeveless will have more range of motion when you swim in the shoulders. Just like I was talking about my O'Neill surfing wetsuit that was very thick in the shoulders, so it made it very hard or harder to swim 2.4 miles or whatever you're swimming with. So they've increased the technology to the point where they've thinned out this area so that it allows the arms to move freely, eliminating the sleeveless wetsuits. So I'm glad that I did not go to Ironman with old technology. I don't mind spending the extra money for a little bit more modern wetsuit. Also, the good news is when I originally purchased the Ironman to go to Alaska, when they canceled it and I had to defer my race to another location, as an apology, I guess, they gave me a $200 gift card as to the Ironman store to say, for an apology, which is fine. I didn't know what I was gonna do with those funds. I was just gonna wait till the day of the race, maybe buy a nice little backpack that says Ironman on it. But when I went onto the Ironman website, realized that they sell wetsuits, I ended up getting a little bit more expensive wetsuit and use that gift card to lower the price of this expensive wetsuit. So everything that's been going on has been working out all in my favor. So I'm really, really happy that I saved money. I'm really happy that everything is working in my favor. So these are all good little positive signs leading up to the race. So just wanted to share my experience and my little stories with you guys. Another thing about the technology of the wetsuit is that, not the technology, but the information that I was learning from the wetsuit is little hacks. And the hacks are wearing, Vaseline around the wrists and Vaseline around the ankles, so that when I take off the wetsuit, it's much easier to take it off than if I wouldn't have the Vaseline. Again, these are all little hacks I'm learning from the GTN network that I'm really thankful, because I don't want to go through that experience or trial and errors on my own. There's tons of people who did it before, so it's good that I'm doing this research to kind of give me these tips. Now, one of the things that I need to do, right? A couple weeks ago, I talked about the maintenance of my bike, learning how to change the tire, learning how to just maintain the bike if anything happens during the race. I know how to fix it, how to take care of it. So in the swimming portion of it, the equivalent would be taking off my wetsuit. How fast is it going to take me, or how slow is it going to take me to finish the swim, take off my wetsuit efficiently so that I'm ready to go for the cycling portion. So practicing taking off the wetsuit is going to be part of my training as well. So I need to get it fully submerged in water, pretend like I'm swimming, so that I get out, boom, time myself so that I know, or I have an idea how long it's going to take me to take off this wetsuit. So taking off the wetsuit in itself is going to be a practice in itself. So I'll make sure that I kind of get some type of version of me timing myself taking off my wetsuit. Another thing to save time is by wearing my tri-suit under my wetsuit. So that way, when it's time to take off the wetsuit, I'm literally just taking it off, picking up my bike, and going. That way I don't have to spend time changing into my tri-suit and all this other stuff. So the tri-suit stays on throughout the whole race, but it will be under my wetsuit in the beginning. So again, just things, ideas that I need to do for practice, and things that will be coming in the future videos.